Antibiotics. There are hundreds of different types and dozens of different classes. According to the CDC, 4 out of 5 Americans take antibiotics at least once a year. That's over 260 million rounds prescribed annually. And for children under the age of 10, antibiotics constitute a majority of all prescriptions given. But the next time you think you or your child requires antibiotics, we encourage you to weigh the pros and the cons. Doctors prescribe antibiotics for a large variety of conditions, everything from strep throat to bronchitis to acne to STDs. Antibiotics have been used for millennia. For centuries, people have used various plant and mold extracts. Ancient Egyptians applied moldy bread to infected wounds. But it was not until 1909 that the first modern-day antibiotic was discovered by Paul Ehrlich and used as a treatment for syphilis. Almost 20 years later, Alexander Fleming accidentally discovered penicillin. It's been said, if medicine had a profit and loss sheet, its balance before modern-day antibiotics was in the negative. The application is usually the same, to target and kill bacteria that are at the root cause of the illness or infection. The problem with antibiotics is that they have some significant limitations. Each antibiotic is only useful against a handful of bacteria and entirely ineffective against others.
With antibiotics, they will kill only specific types of bacteria, and if it's the wrong antibiotic, that bacteria will become antibiotic resistant.
The World Health Organization has stated that without urgent action, we are headed to a post-antibiotic era in which common injuries and minor infections can once again kill.
According to Healthline, 2 million people a year are affected by bacteria that is resistant to antibiotics, leading to roughly 23,000 deaths. Deaths that could have been avoided possibly by taking structured silver.
Antibiotics also come with a series of side effects.
For antibiotics, the most common side effect is diarrhea, stomach cramps, nausea, vomiting, and these symptoms usually appear within 12 to 24 hours after ingesting the antibiotic. And this is usually due to the indiscriminate killing of the good bacteria or the friendly bacteria that coat your lining of your gut.
To understand this better, we must first understand the method that the antibiotic uses to target and kill bacteria within our body.
Antibiotics kill bacteria by either killing them outright or at least suspending or stopping their production. They do this by either 1, killing the cell wall, 2, by stopping their ability to reproduce other bacteria, or 3, stopping the production inside them of protein.
Now, silver, on the other hand, only kills the water-soluble bacteria, leaving the good, useful bacteria in the healthy cells of your body unharmed. It does this because it steals an electron from the outside area of the bacteria and thus pops it like a water balloon. The healthy cells of your body and the good bacteria are left entirely unaffected because they're protected by a mucus layer or a bilipid fat layer.
A study in Science Translation magazine found that by adding trace amounts of silver to normal antibiotics, just common antibiotics, increased their kill rate up to 1,000 times in infections within mice. The authors of the study were also very surprised to find that this combination of antibiotic and silver was very effective at killing bacteria that had become antibiotic resistant.
And this begs the question, can the silver have this effect on its own? And if so, why even use the antibiotics at all? Antibiotics also have other limitations. They are entirely ineffective against fungal infections, things like yeast infections, ringworm, or athlete's foot. Antibiotics are also useless against viruses. In 2010, a group of pediatricians published a study in the Journal of American Medical Association that sounded the alarm on the overuse of antibiotics for children with common infections caused by viruses. The doctors noted that the risks outweigh the benefits, which were non-existent in most cases. So why take on the risk of damage to your microbiome and the additional risk of a whole bunch of side effects when there's no potential upside for doing so? Researchers at the University of South Carolina Medical School estimated that half of the 40 million prescriptions filled for an antibiotic named Z-Pak were unnecessary and resulted in as many as 4,560 deaths in that year. Exactly 0 people have died from structured silver.
Structured silver, because of its method of attack, is able to kill a much wider variety of bacteria than an individual antibiotic or a combination thereof. And this is due to its ability to rob an electron out of the cell wall of whatever it touches that is water soluble.
On top of this, antibiotics are endocrine disruptors. And constant exposure to them in our food supply mimics and confuses our sex hormones. As well, it can tinker with our metabolism, fueling obesity. In 2011, U.S. drug makers sold nearly 30 million pounds of antibiotics into the livestock industry. This made up over 80% of the antibiotics sold in that calendar year. A 2004 study published in JAMA also pointed to the potential of antibiotics to significantly increase the net risk for cancer. So in summary, silver is a better antibiotic than most antibiotics, doesn't cause bacterial resistant strains, is effective against fungal and viral infections, and doesn't require a prescription. So why then aren't most general medical practitioners implementing this into their practice? Instead, they're more likely to tell you not to take silver for fear that it will turn you blue. Check out our video on Argyria for more information on that one. In the meantime, get informed and get healthy. As always, if you've enjoyed the video and found it informative, click the like button and subscribe. And check out more of our informative content.